Hello, and welcome back to the Bright Light Wellness YouTube channel. Thanks so much for being here. I wanted to come on here and do a YouTube video with the idea of this too shall pass. And I know you've probably heard that before. I've heard it so many times, right? But when you're in the thick of something, you feel like, oh my God, this is never going to get better. You get in this despair. You're like, it's going to be forever. And actually, what you're doing is you're feeding that feedback loop that keeps you stuck, number one. And number two is because whatever you focus on will also grow. And number two is typically when you look back, you're like, oh yeah, that did pass and everything was fine. So I just want to tell you like a couple quick stories about myself. I've dealt with a lot of health issues throughout my life, but also a lot of like physical injuries. 3 herniated discs in my neck, with the backward C-spine, and that was rough. In fact, I went to two surgeons, and they both said that it would never recover, and I would absolutely need surgery if I wanted to feel no pain, which literally I don't have pain anymore. I haven't had pain in years. I mean, I get like little flare-ups, but then I just go back and do my stretches and my PT exercises, and it's all better. But when I was in that pain for a year where I was like, this is never going to end. It's never going to get better. Even my PT, who was amazing, who I saw, said, you'll probably always deal with this pain. It'll probably never be okay. And I was like, I just like, I would get into to despair about those things, but at the same time, be like, I don't believe that. I don't resonate with that. And I know that in my past, I've proven that things can get better. And I did get better with that. I mean, that was probably like 2019. So I was like a whole year of just really intense chronic neck pain. That was terrible. And it was hard. Like I used to be a special ed teacher. I used to stand in my classroom and lean my head against the wall because I couldn't hold my head up anymore because the pain was so bad. And I do know for sure that the lifestyle that I'm living today keeps me out of that pain or keeps that pain very minimal, right? Because when you're having like, say, disc issues, right? Say herniated disc, this is just lack of fluids and exclusions on water, in my opinion. Pain is lack of exclusions on water, right? And poor mitochondria function and, poor lifestyle habits, which I had back then, right? I mean, somewhat better, but than the typical normal standard American stuff, but not anywhere like I am today. So that's one example of something that I thought I would never recover from, and that I would always have to deal with it and always be, something that I mean, I used to every night be icing that thing or putting heat on that thing and stretching it every day and the PT I mean, it was like and my focusing on it also kept me in that negative feedback loop, which I think is really important for us to think about as well. I've also had like plantar fasciitis. Of course, I was told like, oh, you have like flat feet, right? So you have to have these arches in your shoes. That's all nonsense. That's not true. So I've had that, which I thought was never going to go away, and I'd never be walking again normal. That's resolved. Of course, I had what do you call it? A bursitis in the hips and IT band issues. Again, same thing, resolved it. But then the other one I had was it's an impingement, something impingement in your hip where the femur bone hits the pelvis. It was some sort of impingement, and it would feel like this pain, like this deep, deep, deep pain, right where that femur bone is that the femur? Yeah, the one in the thigh hits the pelvis. There was like this deep pain because there was bone on bone there. I want you to know I've never had surgeries for any of these injuries, and they've all passed, okay? And they've all resolved and gotten better. And I was told again, oh, you're going to need surgery. That's never going to go away. You'll have this for life. Knee pain, same thing. I mean, I was hard on my body. I used to over exercise and overtrain, but I just want to remind you, like, don't ever let anybody tell you it's forever and that it can't shift. I used to have Hashimoto's, so low energy, lots of just like standard joint pain, just not necessarily injuries, but like just joint pain and bloating and fatigue and heart palpitations and all kinds of thyroid symptoms, hair loss. Used to have giant bald spots of alopecia areata in my head. And I was like, oh my God, I'm never going to get rid of this. I'm going to go bald. Like, no, my hair is great. I'm not going bald. It will pass. So I always remind myself of that. Like this too shall pass. Whenever I'm in the thick of something, I remind myself of all the things that I've overcome that people told me I couldn't overcome, including the fact that I used to be, when I was in fourth grade, I was labeled as having a learning disability. And I also overcame that and was declassified of that. Like, this too shall pass. I mean it. Whatever you're dealing with, you can overcome it because you are infinite potential. And don't ever let anybody tell you it's not possible. Oh, of course, how could I forget this one? I was also told by a naturopathic doctor and a functional medicine doctor that I had mast cell activation syndrome and would have to be on mast cell stabilizers for life, and that it would never be possible for me to cure it. None of that's true. I don't have any of those things. And I think also it's what you like, not what you manifest, but what you buy into. When they told me that, I was like, moving on. See you later. I'll go figure this out. You have to work with people who also believe in the possibility and your potential, number one. And also, like, if they say something like that and it doesn't resonate with you, like the doctors who told me I had to have surgery on my neck, or, oh my goodness, how could I forget this one? Or the doctor who once told me that I had to have my bladder removed. By the way, my bladder is still in my body. My bladder is my toughest nut to crack. It still can have days that are challenging. There are many days that I don't even notice it at all. Like today, it's like I don't even, like, of course I have to pee when I have to pee, but I don't have any issues with it. But there are some days that it still can flare up here and there. I'd say that issue was like 95% solved. And from where I am now to where I was is remarkable, considering that I used to be up all night in extreme debilitating chronic pain where I couldn't sleep at all. I couldn't walk. Literally couldn't take a short walk, like for 5 minutes, 10 minutes. It would be too much pain. I mean, I couldn't food shop. I could do nothing. That's how bad my pain was. So the minor pain that I deal with here and there, it's almost like it's not bothersome, but somebody else who hasn't dealt with what I've dealt with may notice it. There's just so many things in my life that people told me that I would have to deal with it forever. It's not curable. Just have to live with it. And I just didn't buy into that. And maybe it's my fighter mentality. But and sometimes I would have that despair of recovery. This is not going to get better. But those dark times have led me to the expansion that I'm on right now. But they've also taught me the lesson that it will get better. Like, it will pass. It's not going to be forever, right? Like, even when we get a cold or like an acute, we're like, oh, it's never going to get better. We get into these kind of like, woe is me kind of states. And I just want to remind you of that today, because I just feel like I was just reflecting as I was laying in the sun earlier. I'm like, how many times have people told me that something was not curable or I was going to deal with it forever? And it was just not true. Like, none of it was true. They were so, so wrong. So don't let people do that to you. And don't let, and if you're working with somebody who is doing that to you, you might want to say, see you later, bye-bye, because that's not going to serve you. I don't believe that there's anything that's not curable. How we get to that cure might take a lot of different modalities and facets, right? Because it's not like this simple fix overnight. But I don't believe that that's true. I don't think any case is too far gone for at least to be, if not cured, to be palliated or supported in a way that makes quality of life so much, so much greater. I mean, I used to have chronic insomnia that I was also told probably would never go away. I mean, the list could go on and on and on. So I hope this video just brings you a little bit of inspiration today about the truth that this too shall pass and nothing is forever. And, I mean, I know I've done that with mental emotional things too, where I've been in like an aggravation from a homeopathic remedy, which does happen. And I'm like, I'm never gonna get better. And I'm in the shame spiral, or like the grief is coming up, or the, just whatever is coming up just feels dark and like you can't move past it. But it will pass. I promise. And some things are harder than others, and some things are more challenging than others. But I want you to sit back, if you haven't really thought about it in a while, like think of the things you have overcome, because I know the list is far is far and great like mine is. I mean, I think I've just named mast cell activation syndrome, almost IC, um, plantar fasciitis, hip issues, knee issues, an impingement in my pelvis. What else did I say? Oh, my herniated disc in my neck. What? I'm sure there's more. I'm sure alopecia areata, Hashimoto's, like, it's going to pass. And, just know that. So I hope this was inspirational to you today. That's all I wanted to do is come on. And if you need support, I'm here. You know where you can reach me. brightlightwellnesscoach.com is my website. Links are all linked below. And let me know what else you want me to chat about. I'm here for you guys. That's why I have this channel, is to support, encourage, and to be that bright light. And so that challenges can be overcome. Mountains can be moved. You can climb the mountain. You can reach the top. Right? You can reach your goals. You can overcome. Okay. So if you're going through something hard, this too shall pass. All right. I'll catch you guys on the next video.